Welcome to episode 16, where I show you all of the details of my living room design. But first, let's just take a look at the outfit. She is green screen. She is fresh cut grass. She is caramel apples, folks. All right, let's head to the Alice Lane showroom. We are back in the conference room, if you remember this room. I'm really excited to show you all the things that we went through and picked out. And I love that they have everything from the entry, because one of the things that I really wanted to make sure is that everything from our entry flowed really nicely into the living room, which I think we nailed. I want to walk you through the process on how we went through the process. So the very first thing is they wanted some inspiration pictures from me. So the only thing that I had set in my mind is that I wanted a lot of open seating and I wanted neutral colors. So that's basically all I gave them to go off of. So it was really easy for me to have a concept. The difficult part for me is to actually bring that concept to life, and that is definitely where Alice Lane comes in. I feel so lucky that I get to partner with Alice Lane again. They did the design for my entry, so if you didn't see that video, I will make sure that it is in the description below for you guys. And now we get to move on and show you the front room. Jeez, it's not the front room. Can I say front room? Is that
great
okay?
Room.
Okay, not front room, great room. Okay, moving on. This is Jessica, and she is who I've been working with one-on-one, and it has been really comfortable, convenient. So we've just been going back and forth through text. And the first thing that she presented to me was several different floor plans. I felt like there were pros and cons, and I went really back and forth on how I was going to be living in this space. And so of all the ones that she chose, this is the floor plan that I went with.
So for this floor plan, it keeps it pretty open to the fireplace, since one of the things you really wanted was to have that hearth on your fireplace to sit on and be a part of kind of like the sitting area in your great room. So we kept in front of the fireplace really open, and we gave you a couple reclining chairs for your family, so you can really just like lounge, sit back, and all hang out together. And then a couple of really comfortable sofas, which we have on our showroom floor, and I can show you them and you can sit in them on their floor.
Okay. I really liked the chairs that you presented, but as I got thinking about the space more, I'm just like, I really want my dad to be able to come in, lounge back in the chair, and take a nap. So we went with a recliner in that one. And to be honest, did I want the look of a recliner? I think I preferred the look of the chairs more.
Chair.
But I think we found a chair that was beautiful and functional. So we went with the recliner, which, do you have that here? Did you see it yesterday? Oh,
We
you
don't. I know.
That's
We have the ottoman and the sofas.
Okay, so we'll go look at those.
Yeah.
And then it was really important to me on the couch that it had a soft edge. Because I really wanted to be able to, again, like lay down on it, feel comfortable. So I wanted it to be extra beautiful, which there's no lack of, and extra comfortable. So I'm excited to go like sit on the couch, sit on the ottoman, make sure that they're nice and comfortable.
Yes. Okay, so we're just going to talk about everything that's sitting in this tray, and this is all of the fabrics, the finishes, the rug, the textures, just all the different things that we have happening in this space to really give us an overall vibe of everything that's happening in here. So to start, this is the rug that we selected. It's a synthetic material, so with that, it's going to be really durable, really easy to clean. And we did it in a 12 by 15 size so that it really grounds the space nicely with all of the large scale pieces that you have in the room. So you can see here in the mock-up, it grounds all of the pieces in this space. Nothing is floating outside of it. It really just feels cozy and inviting, and it fits the scale of the space because we got 10-foot ceilings here, and this space is overall really, really, really large. So,
Woohoo!
Woohoo! We love it. From that, we're gonna move to the sofa. So this is the sofa fabric we selected. It's a wool acrylic polyester blend, so also gonna be really durable, but it's really soft, and the movement and texture in here is really gonna hide dirt and things like that long term. It's also gonna wear really nicely. So when you sit in it over time, it's not gonna divot and have those folds in it when you sit in it over time.
I don't know what goes into the materials that make them have the qualities that I want. So I just told her, I was like, I just need something durable. I just need something that's really comfortable. I just want something that doesn't ripple when you sit in it after, you know, a year. I want it to look good after several years of use. And so I love that you are so knowledgeable on what goes into the material. So this was a really big part of choosing items for the room. It was easier for me to choose the couch than it was the material. So thank you.
Good, I love it, I love it. And I'm so glad that we came to that conclusion there, because this fabric honestly was one of my favorites. The texture of it looks so good next to this rug.
Yes.
The nubbiness of it like almost brings an organic, cozy feel. Because this rug, you can see it's got a little bit of sheen when I rub my hand on it, how the light hits it and the different movements.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this really just makes it more cozy and adds that like nice natural texture in there. With this being our sofa, we paired it with another, keeping it really light and bright, as you can see in the mock-ups. Our chairs are really light. And one thing I was telling Bonnie is we want to make sure everything is durable for you and your family long term, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't need to be afraid of light, because we can do a Krypton, we can do an inside out, a really durable fabric that'll stand the test of time, but also be timeless aesthetically.
And I was really nervous to go this light. They have this material on a sofa, and it is what changed my mind about taking this light fabric and using it on these chairs. So when we go out, I'll show you this on a larger scale, and that's kind of what sold it for me. And it cleans easily, so I'm good. I'm good.
This texture right here, this is mimicking the texture of our Luca side table that we are gonna have in between our sofas right there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna add just a really crisp white material in there, make it feel really fresh and clean. But also when you walk into the room, it's not gonna be like a loud piece that you see when you walk in. It's gonna feel really soft on your eyes. So we did the Luca there, and we have a beautiful crystal lamp, the Francis lamp. One thing we love about all of our crystal lamps and accessories is it bounces light, especially with all the natural light and large windows that we have in the space. It's really gonna bounce light and reflect so beautifully in the space. And it kind of carries the crystal also throughout the space, along with the wall sconces that are our #1 favorite.
Yeah, we're having a hard time choosing between sconces here.
So we can go over those next. These are the 3 wall sconces that we are kind of toggling between. This one brings over the acrylic, and if you can remember in the entry, we have that beautiful acrylic table, and I think this acrylic will really just carry that texture and material over, giving us a really good consistency throughout the 2 spaces.
So if you guys have a preference on lights, I would love to hear in the comments below, because I love all 3. I love all 3.
Next thing we're gonna jump to is our console table. So you see back here, we have a console table nesting behind the sofa. This is just so that when you're sitting in the dining room area looking back in this way, you're not staring at the back of the sofa, but you're staring at a beautiful silhouette and a couple ottomans. This is kind of what you're gonna be seeing behind the sofa. So both of these ottomans are swivel, so they're gonna be really awesome to sit on, turn around, have a conversation in when you're sitting in the family room, but also the dining room, and just being able to kind of perch right there and be in between both spaces.
When Jessica was sourcing the console, she said that it's deep enough so that the kids can sit up to it, they can eat at it if they needed to, they can sit there and do their homework. And what I really like is that there's an area right there that faces either the family room, or you can swivel, see the dining table, swivel, see the kitchen. And so it just makes it a very universal space, and that was important to me. So I really loved the idea of a console there.
And then this is the wood finish that we decided to go with. You can see it's kind of like a light ivory cream. It's got a little bit of warmth in there, but it's not quite white. So we wanted to compare it with her wood floor. So Bonnie bought her wood floors in here, and you can see it's bright enough on the wood floor that it's gonna pop, but it also has a really good consistency of that warmth that blends nicely and gets along with the wood tones in the floors.
Which I was really nervous. When she first showed me that sample, my initial thought was, oh, it's too yellow, like I don't want anything yellow. So when I brought in the wood floor and we saw them together, it was surprising to see how well they went together. And my vision for this room was just really light and neutral. And so at first, when you started bringing in the different colors, it made me nervous. Like I'm like, oh, these are like yellow, or oh, this is just too, you know, I just didn't know how it was gonna work until she put them all together, and that is exactly what I wanted. I just didn't know that I was able to put different textures, put different patterns and all those things, and still have it look neutral and light.
So the next thing we're gonna go over is the ottoman fabric. This is the ottoman we selected that swivels. This is the wood finish that we're gonna do on it.
On the bottom of it.
On the base, yeah. So it's a vintage white, so it's not gonna be like a crisp white. As you can see, it's gonna have just a little bit of warmth, but still pop. And I think it'll be really beautiful with this fabric. It'll add just a little bit of pattern in there, since overall, all of our patterns and textures are really soft, really like smaller scale. We have a lot of good texture. But this will just add a peekaboo of fun underneath that console table, which I think is gonna be so cute when it's in there.
Which I was hesitant again because I just don't know these things. And she said, I really wanna see a pop of color on the ottoman. And so this is mild, probably in your eyes.
Oh yeah. But it's so pretty. Like that pattern on there is gonna be timeless. It can go transitional, it can go more contemporary and modern, and I think you'll just love those forever.
Yeah, I'm happy that you pushed me a little bit on it because I think it adds a lot to the space.
So moving on, speaking of ottomans, instead of a coffee table, with all of your kids, we wanted to make sure it was going to be durable, and if they're running around playing, they're not gonna hit their head on a coffee table, even if it's round. Those edges of the coffee tables can still be kind of sharp and, you know, cause injury. So just to not be nervous when you walk into the room, someone hits their head and it's like, oh,
and if they're the Hoellein boys running around, they're going to be doing that. So we went with something soft, round.
But also durable, which is my favorite part. I think it's so important just to plan for long term with that. And this is a leather fabric. You can see it's got a beautiful like gray blue undertone. It pulls the gray blue kind of icy tones in the rug, but it also like isn't too cold. It has a little bit of warmth to it. And one of the things when we were looking at
do the scratch test.
One of the things we were looking at with the leather options is, does it scratch easily? And I showed her a few different options. When I scratch it, you can see the scratch line. It's gonna wear like a regular leather, and you can kind of buff it out, but long term, it won't really scratch. I mean, it will scratch, excuse me. This one, it doesn't scratch. You can see no matter how many times I scratch it, there's no scratches on there, and it's wipeable, it's treated. So it's gonna be really heavy duty. Anytime you put anything on it, it's gonna wear really well.
Yep, and I loved that because we wanna be able to put our feet up on here. I wanna be able to bring in, you know, like a tray and have my kids run around and play and have it still looking good and new. And so that was the perfect option for me. Because the other ones, I really liked the other colors a little bit better, to be honest, but you would barely touch them and it leaves the scratch line in there. And they do buff out, but just not all the way. And so I really liked this one for that reason.
Hey, your fingernails match the flower.
They do, look how pretty.
Yeah, this is gonna be so pretty. I put that flower in here because I'm like, we need to carry some of that pink over from our entry, the art, over into here, whether that's like florals or like you can even just see over here like a pink candy dish on the cocktail table, or some pillows that have pink undertones, or a candle, you know, just some slight undertones. And of course, our beautiful bougainvillea.
Yep, I came in the other day and I saw these bright pink ones and I was like, will this work? Can we do these? And she's like, absolutely. And I actually love that you brought it in here because I was worried about colors clashing and all those things, but I really don't think so at all. It's so gorgeous. So at some point I want something like this, and I really do love seeing it next to the more neutral, because these are like a brownie pink of pillows. I'm obsessed. They're so perfect. Ooh, they're perfect.
I love it. Yeah, just different tones of pink, I think really like gives us that depth too. Just make it not all matchy, but having those different depths and tones of pinks all together. It's kind of unexpected, but it's fun, and they work really well together. Like you don't expect them to, but they do.
They do, and I'm thrilled.
So we're just gonna jump into the fireplace mantle, some wallpaper that we looked at for her built-ins, which are gonna be gorgeous, and the end table that we have going. So this is the elevation wall of her built-ins and her fireplace that we looked at. What we decided to do to add some interest up here, because we discussed, do we want a TV in here? Maybe it's a frame TV, you can have a piece of art, or do you want to keep it just really simple and clean and open? And as Bonnie and I were kind of talking, she let me know, I don't really normally have TV in my family room or great room. So we decided to kind of opt out for that and add some interest in a different way into her great room fireplace elevation and built-ins. And what we did is add a piece of paneling above the fireplace, just so that it was interesting and beautiful, but it we weren't forcing a TV up there or a piece of art. We're just gonna keep it really like beautiful, and if down the line she wants to put like a family portrait up here, then she can. Maybe some candlesticks or accessorizing, however she wants. It'll be timeless and beautiful, and she'll be able to switch it out however and whenever she wants.
And later down the road is where we'll decide what goes up there, right? And then also on the shelves.
Absolutely. Another thing that we decided is, instead of bringing the built-ins all the way to the top or putting the sconces like right above here, we decided to put them on here, bring the shelving down just a little bit, and put the sconces there instead, just to flank the fireplace and really make this wall a beautiful focal point while still keeping it beautiful and interesting on the sides. And what we're doing on the backs of the built-ins is a beautiful floral wallpaper, and then we're gonna do lighting on each shelf to shine down.
And the wallpaper was a surprise to me. She hadn't shown me that. When I showed up, she had it picked out, and I was thrilled. You knew my personality. Florals are the most gorgeous thing to me. They're so soft. This is the perfect one. And I love that there's not gold in it, but that it brings different colors into the room. You know what I mean? Like, I love gold, obviously, but there's like a silvery metallic to it.
Yeah, you can see the way it kind of shines in the sun.
Oh, I cannot wait.
So beautiful.
So pretty.
So next we're gonna look at the end table material and the fireplace mantle. So this was the end table material we selected, and that is gonna go right here. So we picked this out because it's really light and bright. You can see the tones. They still get along with the wood on the floors.
Oh, like perfectly. That's so good.
So what we're doing is we're bringing that warmth up off of the floor into the space when you walk in. And it's just kind of elevating that warmth in the wood tone. Since it's gonna be pretty light and bright all throughout, this is just gonna really help warm it up.
I love it. And I wasn't sure at first, because at first this piece felt really like abrupt. Everything else was soft, and then this was kind of sharp. But the more I see it in the room, the more I really enjoy it. Oh, and tell them why. So she was telling me that this is a solid piece, this end table, this is a solid piece, it goes to the ground. But this, she wanted it more open, so that it was a little bit different from the other pieces, right?
Yeah. This is the stone that we are looking at. It is natural. The color is called natural. But you can see it doesn't have any like yellow undertones. It's really soft, really clean, and it just makes you feel light and airy, like you can walk in and take a deep breath.
Or a nap, in my dad's case.
Yes.
And then there was a bunch of different mantle surrounds that we could choose from, and I felt like this one fit the space the best, so we went with that. And I know they say, you know, I don't really know. From what I've gathered, the fireplaces that go all the way to the ground are a little bit more custom. In my bedroom, I am taking the fireplace all the way to the ground, but in this living space, I just had to have, is it called a hearth or mantle?
The floor hearth.
Hearth. The hearth. I always confuse the two. I really wanted to keep the hearth because that's where I always sat in my mom's house, and that's a huge seating area in the house that I have now. So for me, it's just a personal choice of having the hearth instead of taking it all the way to the floor. Because what we could have done, if we didn't have the hearth here, we could have put a really pretty like lounge sofa right here or some ottomans right here. But for me, I just really wanted this because it just brings a feeling of like my home growing up, and so that's why I chose to keep that here.
Just kind of re-looking at the entry, we wanted to make sure that the two spaces got along really well. Since you walk into the entry directly to the great room, you can kind of see here, you walk right in there. One of the things that was really inspiring and keeping me on my toes a little bit in the design was this color of blue that we have happening with the pink art. We have our gray and white tile floors happening, and then crystal chandeliers, alabaster sconces. What we did is we carried that over, a lot of the textures, into the space. We kept it really light and bright. We brought in some of the blue silvery tones in our rug, but overall kept the furniture pieces lighter and just really airy feeling. But we brought the textures like our wood and the crystal over here with our lighting. Maybe it's just our Francis table lamp, but depending on the sconce that we do, which any of these will be gorgeous. They will give us a completely different vibe depending on which one you choose. But one thing I was telling Bonnie about is this was actually my favorite sconce at first because it's so interesting. And if you look at it, it actually mimics the silhouette of our entry chandelier, the kind of leaf shapes that we have.
Which I really love. Ooh, maybe that will sway me.
I know, so I really like this one because of that. But then as we were looking at the elevations, this acrylic one was so beautiful, and I loved that it carried that acrylic over into this space. And it also feels just a little bit more feminine, which is the vibe we're kind of going for. So,
and this, what is that called?
The end table. So
yeah.
And also the acrylic in this sconce also brings that end table texture into the family room. So that end table in there is also acrylic, and what we're doing by making this acrylic is carrying that texture over, keeping it really consistent throughout both spaces.
Gosh, I love it. It's everything that I wanted. Nailed it. So this is the ottoman and the couch that we chose. This is the same finish that we chose for the side table that will go next to the recliners, and this is the recliner material that we chose. So I feel like it's going to wear just fine. It'll be great. Thank you guys so much for watching. One of my favorite parts is reading your guys' insights and your thoughts. So please leave a comment so that I can hear your thoughts and your input on the living room design. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you need to catch up on the new home building process, I have a playlist with dedicated house videos. So I'll have that in the description along with all of the information for Alice Lane. Huge thanks to them for putting this beautiful presentation together. I'm in love. I hope you guys liked it. We'll see you guys later. Bye. Well, that's cozy. I've made a lot of good decisions today, but this, this is the best decision I've made all day. Welcome. 16 detailed design. Okay. okay. All right. Not really. Oh, let me introduce you first. Okay.